Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, we are going to talk about a very important part of constitutional law, Article 12 of Indian Constitution, which states what does the term state means and how it's crucial to our fundamental rights. Whether you are a law student, a UPSC aspirant, or just someone curious about how the Constitution works, this video will help you understand Article 12 in a clear and simple way. So stay with me till the end. Article 12 says that in this part, unless the context otherwise requires, the state includes the government and the Parliament of India and the government and the legislature of each of the states and all the local or other authorities within the territory of India or under the control of government of India. So we know legislature here means union legislature and the state legislature. In union legislature, we have president, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, whereas in the state legislature, it includes governor, state legislative assembly and state legislative council. And also in union executive versus the state executive. Union executive includes president, vice president, council of minister with prime minister, whereas the state executive includes governor, council of minister with chief minister. Now we will be dealing with relevant case laws relating to Article 12. So our first case law is University of Madras versus Shantabai 1954. In this case, Shantabai was a student who challenged the University of Madras regarding the regulations and denied her admission based on her prior qualifications. The central issue revolved around whether universities' rules were discriminatory and if they violated principles of equality and fairness. In this case, the court held that the University of Madras was not a state, as defined in Article 12 of Indian Constitution. This meant that universities' regulations were not subject to prohibition against discrimination on any grounds mentioned under Article 15, Clause 1, and the court also found that universities' regulations, which required certain facilities for women before they could be admitted, were not discriminatory. देन द नेक्स्ट केस हमारे पास है सुखदेव वर्सेस भगत राम 1975। इसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला था कि स्टेट्यूटरी कॉरपोरेशंस लाइक ऑयल एंड नेचुरल गैस कमीशंस, लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कॉरपोरेशंस एंड इंडस्ट्रियल फाइनेंस कॉरपोरेशंस ऑफ इंडिया जो है वो आर्टिकल 12 के अंडर आती हैं। इसका मतलब कि वो स्टेट का एक पार्ट है और जो उनके एम्प्लॉयज़ है दे आर एंटाइटल्ड टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोटेक्शंस including which are written under Article 14, 16 and 311. देन हमारे पास एक और केस लो जो है वो है आर डी शेट्टी वर्सेस इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया 1979। इसमें ये था कि जो आर डी शेट्टी जो था वो एक बिजनेसमैन था। उसने अप्लाई करा था एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के लिए कि वो एक रेस्टोरेंट ऑपरेट करना चाहता है एट द एयरपोर्ट। जो एप्लीकेशन थी वो इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट अथॉरिटी वालों ने रिजेक्ट कर दी थी विदाउट गिविंग एनी रीजंस। तो शेट्टी ने डिसीजन चैलेंज कर दिया था क्लेमिंग कि वो वायलेट कर रहा है प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नेचुरल जस्टिस एंड राइट टू इक्वालिटी। तो इसमें कोर्ट ने बोला कि इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया जो है वो एक स्टेट की डेफिनेशन में आता है अंडर आर्टिकल 12 ऑफ इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। एंड क्योंकि वो एक पब्लिक अथॉरिटी है तो it is it was very compulsory for the public authority to act fairly and justly। जो शेट्टी की एप्लीकेशन लोगों ने रिजेक्ट करी थी विदाउट गिविंग एनी रीजंस वो आर्बिट्ररी मानी जाएगी। और कोर्ट ने बोला कि जो पब्लिक अथॉरिटीज़ हैं वो ट्रांसपेरेंसी प्रोवाइड करे अपने डिसीजंस में और अडेयर करे टू द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ नेचुरल जस्टिस। Now we will be moving towards our most important part of Article 12, which is Instrumentality of a state, but before doing or discussing about instrumentality of a state, we would be first discussing the case Ajay Hasia versus Khalid Mujib, which led to establishment of criteria for discussing instrumentality of a state. In Ajay Hasia versus Khalid Mujib Sehrawadi, petitioner challenged the admission process at the Regional Engineering College, Srinagar, which was managed by society registered under Jammu and Kashmir Registration of Societies Act in 1898. कॉलेज जो था वो फाइनेंशियली सपोर्ट किया जाता था बाय सेंट्रल एंड द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, बट इट वाज नॉट इस्टेब्लिश्ड बाय स्टैट्यूट। एडमिशन प्रोसीजर जो था वो इन्वॉल्व करता था कि एक रिटन टेस्ट होगा 100 मार्क्स का, और एक ओरल इंटरव्यू यानी कि वाइवा वोस होगा विच कैरीज 50 मार्क्स। Petitioner contended that viva voce was arbitrary and discriminatory, violating their right to equality under Article 14 of the Constitution. इसमें कोर्ट ने बोला कि जो सोसाइटी है जो कि उस कॉलेज को मेंटेन कर रही है वो इंस्ट्रूमेंटालिटी में आती है, वो गवर्नमेंट की एजेंसी में आती है। इट मीन्स कि वो स्टेट की डेफिनेशन आर्टिकल 12 के अंडर भी आएगी। लेकिन इसी केस में उन्होंने कुछ डिटर्मिनेंट्स डाले थे, जैसे कि इफ़ द एंटायर स्टेट कैपिटल ऑफ अ बॉडी इज़ हेल्ड बाय गवर्नमेंट, if government provides substantial financial assistance covering almost entire expenditure of the body, existence of a monopoly, deep and pervasive state control over the body's function, and if functions performed by body are of public importance and closely related to the governmental functions. अगर एक भी जो अथॉरिटी है, पब्लिक अथॉरिटी, वो इन क्राइटेरियाज को फुलफिल करती है, सो वो आर्टिकल 12 के अंडर स्टेट के डेफिनेशन के अंडर इंक्लूड होगी। साथ ही साथ इसमें कोर्ट ने बोला कि एलोकेटिंग 50 मार्क्स फॉर द वाइवा वर्स वाज एक्सेसिव एंड कुड लीड टू आर्बिट्ररीनेस। So the court did not invalidate the entire admission process but emphasized the need for fair and reasonable procedures to prevent discrimination. Then we have our next case, that is of Pradeep Biswas versus Indian Institute of Chemical Biology. In this case, Pradeep Biswas was a scientist at Indian Institute of Chemical Biology. He was terminated by the company without giving any adequate reasons for his termination. He claimed that termination was arbitrary and violated his fundamental rights under Article 14 and 16. The court found that Indian Institute of Chemical Biology was substantially funded by the government and its functions were closely tied to the government objectives. Means it qualifies as an instrumentality of a state, and the termination of Biswas services was found to be arbitrary and thereby violating his rights under Article 14 and 16. In order to sum up this slide, or in order to sum up Article 12, we can say that Article 12 defines what all comes under definition of a state, and in order to establish instrumentality of a state, the state or the company or the institution must fulfill any of these five criterias. And in case of any question arising about instrumentality of a state, Ajay Hasia versus Khalid Mujib is a very important case from the exam point of view. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, suggestions or recommendations, feel free to drop them in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thank you.